You turned all these empty floors into life? When the city emptied, the towers stood silent, glass skeletons against the sky, reflecting only wind and sun. Elevators froze mid-floor. Boardrooms became nests for birds. Most people fled when the water stopped and the streets turned to dust. But Isla Jin was not most people. She stood at the base of Tower 19, a duffel bag at her feet and a plan echoing in her mind. Once, she designed rooftop gardens for the rich. Now, she returned for a different kind of harvest. "Why here?" her last friend had asked. Isla glanced up at the 70-story spire. "It's empty, it's high, and it's ours, if we want it." With a key she'd kept long after her job ended, Isla pushed into the lobby. Dark, dusty, and full of possibilities. She stepped inside, letting the doors close on the empty city below. The first days were about survival. Isla searched the lower floors, flashlight flickering over polished tile and overturned desks. She scavenged abandoned cafeterias for cans, dragged old water coolers up the fire stairs, and checked every faucet. The pipes groaned, but the rooftop rain catchers, her own design from years before, still funneled water into hidden tanks. A good omen, she thought. She claimed a corner office on the 40th floor, propped the windows open, and unpacked her seeds. Beans, tomatoes, squash, wildflowers. Planters were made from broken drawers and conference tables. Isla climbed to the roof each morning, eyes scanning the horizon for smoke or movement. The city was silent. She worked in the sunshine, sweat and hope mixing as she turned dead soil into life. At night, with the city below glowing only with moonlight, Isla wrote her plans on walls with broken chalk. One floor for roots, one for vines, one for water, one for rest. Word spread as it always does, even in the silence. First came a boy, no more than 10, standing in the lobby with wide eyes and a backpack full of scavenged apples. Isla welcomed him, showed him how to water the seedlings and where to sleep. Then an old woman arrived, limping but strong-willed, cradling a cat in her arms. Next, a pair of siblings, silent and wary, their hands rough from climbing too many fences. Isla greeted each with the same promise. Every floor can grow something. If you help, you're welcome. If you harm, you leave. The skyscraper filled slowly with voices, footsteps, and laughter. Together they cleared floor after floor, hauling up bags of soil, coaxing vines along the stair rails, planting hope where once there had only been emptiness. Isla looked out over the city and smiled. Above the ruin, life was taking root. Each floor of the skyscraper became a new world. The children were given the 5th floor. Wide windows and broken desks turned into beds and play spaces. The old woman, Rena, claimed the sunny southern edge, growing mint and thyme in file cabinets. Isla organized a council, giving every resident a voice in how their new home would function. Supplies were rationed, chores divided. The teens repurposed computer wires into trellises, hanging beans from the ceiling grids. A market began on the 10th floor, where neighbors traded what they could find: canned goods, books, and fresh eggs from rooftop chickens. Every evening, Isla led everyone to the glass-walled lounge. There they watched the city's sunrises and sunsets in silence, remembering what was lost and what could still be saved. For the first time since the collapse, some dared to dream beyond simple survival. With growth came challenge. A leak on the 14th floor threatened their precious water stores. Rena and Isla patched pipes with scavenged rubber, teaching the others how to conserve every drop. A scavenging team returned one day with news of others nearby, a group living in the old museum, some hostile, some simply scared. Isla convened a meeting. "Do we reach out or stay hidden?" she asked. Opinions clashed, but Isla's steady logic won out. We survived by helping each other. If we share what we know, we help them and ourselves. So, in cautious pairs, they ventured into the city, carrying baskets of greens and water bottles. Some neighbors welcomed them, some did not. But on their return, more joined the skyscraper's strange experiment, each bringing new skills, stories, and hope. Seasons changed, and the vertical Eden transformed. The rooftop became a riot of color. Sunflowers as tall as the solar panels, tomatoes hanging in the breeze, wild strawberries in every patch of sun. Inside, stairwells echoed with laughter and the rhythmic chop of vegetables. The skyscraper was alive. Yet, tensions sometimes threatened that peace. Supplies ran low after a failed harvest. A fight broke out when a storeroom was found raided. Isla called everyone together beneath the glass atrium, her voice calm but firm. "If we don't trust and forgive, we lose everything. We are not just survivors, we are gardeners, builders, and kin. The community listened. Old wounds healed slowly, as gardens do, and above the broken city, the skyscraper glowed with new life. As more people joined, the skyscraper's ecosystem deepened. A teacher set up a schoolroom on the 22nd floor, chalking lessons on glass with dry soap. Artists hung paintings from the elevator shafts, their work full of green and blue, hope and memory. The teens constructed a wind turbine atop the maintenance tower, restoring light to the upper floors. But with every gain, new difficulties appeared. Pests invaded the tomato beds. Water theft was suspected in the night. Isla responded not with anger, but with problem-solving. Netting for the plants, a communal watch schedule, and, most importantly, clear, honest conversations. She made it clear, this garden lives only if we care for it together. No secrets, no silent grudges. Trust grew, floor by floor. A fierce summer heat wave tested everyone's resolve. The city below shimmered in haze. Power failures swept the grid, and those in other buildings suffered. Refugees gathered at the skyscraper's ground floor, pleading for entrance. Isla faced the council. How many can we feed? How many can we teach to tend? After hard debate, the doors opened, cautiously, carefully. Newcomers learned the rules fast. Water was precious, and everyone worked. Rena shared mint tea on sweltering evenings, telling stories from before the collapse. The teacher taught both children and adults how to write, to read the city's changing signs, to measure rainfall in cups. The skyscraper felt stretched, but alive, its roots deeper with each new hand and heart. Then came a crisis that threatened to undo everything. A fire broke out on the 29th floor, an accident caused by an old battery. Smoke billowed up the stairwells, panic swept through the halls. Isla, calm even in chaos, organized a chain of water buckets and guided people to safety. The rooftop rain tanks ran low, but the blaze was beaten back just before it could spread to the gardens above. Afterward, some questioned if it was worth the risk to live so high, so exposed. Isla gathered everyone in the atrium, smoke-stained but resolute. We didn't come this far just to give up when it's hard. This place is what we make of it, together. The crowd, shaken but inspired, chose to rebuild. With new resolve, the vertical Eden grew again, proof that hope could survive even in the tallest, loneliest towers. Time blurred. What began as survival became a way of life. The skyscraper was now a vertical patchwork. Floors of spinach and kale, others of beans and squash, high walkways lined with potted citrus. Rena's mint and thyme spilled from broken vents. Rooftop chickens clucked and scratched beneath trellises of wild grape. Music echoed up the stairwells, guitar, piano, even a battered violin. The teacher's school grew. Children who'd never seen the world before the collapse learned to count harvests instead of years. A festival was held for every new crop and every new child born. Neighbors from other buildings were invited, and soon the upper city thrived on bartering and friendship. At night, Isla watched the lights, homemade lanterns, fireflies in jars, dancing through the floors. The city below might have been a graveyard, but here life pulsed skyward. But even the greenest oasis faced its storms. A violent thunderstorm cracked the rooftop glass, threatening the delicate rain collection system. Isla and a group of skilled hands worked through the night, patching leaks with tarp and hope. Rumors reached the skyscraper of unrest in the distant suburbs, groups fighting over food, shelter, control. Some suggested closing the doors, keeping their Eden secret. Isla stood in the atrium, voice unwavering. Fear builds walls. We plant bridges. If we hide, we become what the old world was. Let's teach, not retreat. After much debate, the community agreed. A group volunteered to visit nearby towers, share seeds and advice, and invite others to join the green experiment. Slowly, the city's skyline began to change. Rooftops sprouting color, neighbors waving from garden ladders, hope moving from floor to floor. The years passed gently, each one a ring in the skyscraper's living trunk. Children grew up climbing trellises and learning how to fix pipes. The school expanded, welcoming not only kids but adults ready to start anew. Traditions blossomed. Poetry readings in the glass lounge, potlucks among the citrus, lantern festivals on the highest balcony. Isla grew older, her hands marked by sun and soil, her heart full. Once, she had been an architect of gardens for the powerful. Now she was simply a gardener of people and possibility. Visitors arrived from far-off districts, asking, "How did you build all this up here?" Isla would smile, pointing to the vines curling through the concrete. "We planted what the city forgot, and waited for it to remember." Above the gray ruins, the vertical Eden stood tall, alive, and ever-growing. The city's transformation gathered momentum. Where once only Tower 19 was green, now half a dozen skyscrapers sprouted gardens, peas in office drawers, beans climbing up fire escapes, even a rooftop beehive or two. A council of towers formed, each sending delegates to share news, seeds, and new techniques. Isla encouraged her community to mentor others. Some floors became classrooms, others seed banks, others just quiet space for those healing from old scars. Every spring, a festival was held on the highest balcony. Neighbors from distant towers climbed hundreds of stairs to taste new tomatoes, share music, and dance beneath the moon. Still, challenges came. A harsh winter killed many crops. One building suffered a fire, another a flood. Isla's people, remembering old lessons, sent aid, never hoarding, always sharing. It became clear, this new way of living would outlast any single storm, so long as trust was stronger than fear. Isla grew slower, but her vision deepened. She mentored young leaders, teaching them not just how to plant seeds, but how to listen, mediate, and hope. Her favorite spot became a bench beneath a lemon tree on the 50th floor. Children visited her there, eager for stories about the old city, and how a handful of strangers built a forest in the sky. One evening, as sunset gold across the rooftops, the council gathered to honor Isla's legacy. They unveiled a mural on the atrium wall, a towering green skyscraper, roots winding down into the city, branches blooming with faces and names. Isla, moved to tears, said simply, "Buildings were made for people, not profit. Life belongs everywhere we dare to plant it." That night, lanterns drifted up past every window, a river of light flowing toward the stars. The years passed, and the vertical Eden flourished. Some residents moved to other towers, bringing with them cuttings, seeds, and the community's ethos. Children born among the tomatoes and sunflowers grew up to teach, to build, and to dream higher. Isla, her hair now white, spent quiet mornings tending wildflowers and writing her story in a battered old notebook. On the anniversary of their first harvest, the entire community gathered on the rooftop. They planted a new lemon tree for every floor, each tree a living wish for those yet to come. As darkness fell, Isla stood before her friends, her family, and spoke. "We turned emptiness into life, together. When people ask how, tell them, we built up, not out. We trusted each other. We believed the impossible could bloom." The city's lights shimmered far below, but in Tower 19, hope reached all the way to the sky. The seasons turned in gentle cycles above the city. Where once only Isla had dared dream of green, now the horizon shimmered with gardens. Towers connected by bridges strung with vines. Rooftop orchards bursting with fruit, courtyards overflowing with color. The Council of Towers grew. Delegates journeyed between buildings, carrying not just seeds and advice, but stories. Of failures learned from, of neighbors helped in hard times, of new ideas planted like hope in waiting earth. Children from different towers explored together, climbing skywalks and counting the honeybees that now thrived far above the streets. Every year, a festival wove the communities together. Musicians played on balconies, chefs swapped recipes for rooftop harvests, poets read verses about sky gardens and roots that refused to give up. Isla watched from her favorite bench, her legs slower but her eyes bright. The city, once gray and hollow, now pulsed with laughter and music. But life in the sky was not always easy. A fierce summer storm shattered windows and threatened to wash away months of careful work. Neighbors rallied, patching glass and replanting in the rain, each setback met with shared determination. After the storm, the city bloomed even brighter. As Ila's hair turned silver and her steps slowed, she reflected on all they had built. Her story became legend, how she had entered Tower 19 alone, carrying only seeds and stubborn hope, and awakened a city spirit. She mentored young leaders, teaching them patience and the art of compromise, how to settle disputes over water or sunlight, how to welcome strangers, and how to forgive honest mistakes. A new council formed, diverse and wise, each member carrying a piece of Ila's legacy. On the 50th anniversary of the first rooftop harvest, the city celebrated with a skywide festival. Neighbors from every tower decorated bridges with lanterns and wildflowers. Children presented Isla with a living mural, vines trailing down a wall, each leaf painted with the names of those who had once called the skyscraper home. That evening, Isla gathered her friends, her voice still strong. We grew life where there was only emptiness. Let every empty place become a garden. Let every lonely heart find a family here. As the festival reached its peak, lanterns floated into the night, tiny stars drifting above a city that would never be dark again. The years moved on, but the vertical Eden endured. Isla's story passed into myth. Her notebook, filled with sketches and lessons, was placed in the tower's atrium, open for anyone who wished to learn. The towers, now green beacons seen for miles, became a model for other cities. Delegations arrived from faraway lands, eager to understand how hope had reached so high. Isla's bench beneath the lemon tree became a place of pilgrimage. New generations brought seeds to plant at its roots, promising to carry the dream onward. On each anniversary, the city gathered beneath the stars, children reading Isla's favorite lines. We turned all these empty floors into life. As the city continued to climb skyward, the legacy of one woman's stubborn faith and possibility touched every vine, every heart, every hand. Hope, once just a dream, had become the tallest thing in the world.